my name is Natalie, and in today's video I'm talking about why chick flicks are not crap. I've been thinking a lot about feminism lately and doing a lot of reading about it and trying to find more information about what makes a film a feminist film, or what it is about a film or television show that helps it to encourage or support feminism. And that's kind of led me to thinking about what makes a film feminist. Generally, I would say films that are about women or the interior lives of women are leaning towards feminism. But films that usually include storylines about women are often called chick flicks. And usually they're not taken very seriously. They usually revolve around romance and love being the ultimate symbol of success. Chick flicks are usually seen as lowbrow entertainment, and women are so bewildering yet so stupid at the same time that most men would not even consider watching a chick flick. Patriarchy would say that chick flicks are not worthy of time or attention or praise, and that they're certainly not up to the standard of insert male director's name here type films. There's no substance to them, there's no complicated plot, there's no depth. I would argue that chick flicks are an awesome genre because women are featured and women are heard. But does that make them feminist? Women don't get verbally, physically, or emotionally abused or manipulated. They're usually living fairly autonomously. They usually have friends and like a support network or a community around them. They don't get raped or killed, and in the end, they are happy. Yes, I know that chick flicks aren't perfect, and the trope of having to find a man to give you value or success in life is really damaging. But my point is that these films shouldn't be seen as inferior or crap. They're not stupid, and they don't have to be hidden away shamefully as guilty pleasures. I have said before on this channel that I'm really sick of watching stuff where women are hurt or abused. And in so much of what's popular today, it's really hard to find things that don't include violence against women. So in order to be safe from that violence, a pretty safe genre to choose is chick flicks. No, that doesn't make them feminist, but they can certainly be enjoyed by feminists. With that said, I want to share a couple of really good chick flicks that if you haven't seen, I would highly recommend, with a brief discussion of some feminist elements within them. There will be a few minor spoilers ahead, so if you don't want anything to be spoiled for you, then you can use the time codes that I've put in the description box below. The first film is Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version featuring Keira Knightley and Matthew Macfadyen as the main characters. Pride and Prejudice is set in a firmly patriarchal society. I never really watched it with the understanding that women were seen as property in this time, and that marriage was basically a business transaction. Like, I kind of knew it, but I wasn't watching it in that frame of mind, if that makes sense. So this time I realized that when Darcy is talking to Elizabeth's father after he proposes or they sort of get together, he is asking for his permission to marry Elizabeth, but he's also probably negotiating the terms of their contract. In other words, the price he's going to pay for her. Which in and of itself is disgusting, and you can see other examples of this happening in the film with Lydia and Mr. Wickham, Charlotte and Mr. Collins, and to an extent Jane and Mr. Bingley. However, the film also gives Elizabeth agency within that patriarchal system. The Bennet sisters have quite a lot of freedom within their household, and Elizabeth turns down Mr. Collins, even while the fear of destitution hangs over them. Mr. Bennet also encourages the rejection, which paints him as a sort of loving father, rather than someone who would choose to sell Lizzie to lift them out of their near poverty. Elizabeth initially rejects Darcy as well, and is very forthright with Lady Catherine, which shows that she doesn't let her rank or situation affect her autonomy. Of course, I'm aware that she lives in that patriarchal structure and the way that it's set up is against her, but within that world, at least she has some agency. Catherine called Birdie, another period piece in a well-established patriarchal time. This film is a delightful coming-of-age story about Birdie, who, like Elizabeth, is part of the landed gentry, and who, also like Elizabeth, is at risk of falling into poverty. Her father does decide to sell Birdie in order to make money and save the family home. But of course Birdie is still a child, and so she finds weird and wacky ways of sending each of the suitors packing. This film does break the fourth wall and includes the whole, like, we're in a period style film, but we're going to use modern language and ideas style that's happening a lot these days. But that's its strength. Birdie identifies, questions, and challenges patriarchal power in her world. And in doing so, she finds allies and a possible alternative path for her to follow as she grows up, away from the norms of society. Lady Bird and Little Women, both directed by Greta Gerwig. Lady Bird is another coming-of-age story about someone called Catherine who nicknames herself Lady Bird. She's chomping at the bit to get out of her small town and fulfill the potential she knows she has in a big city university. The brilliance of this film lies in Lady Bird's strong self-confidence. There's a lot of high school coming-of-age themes like boys and popularity and sex and that sort of stuff. But through it all, Lady Bird holds true to herself and she makes her own choices through all of it. The heart of the film is a falling out and a reconnection with her best friend Julie. I love that it's not about the usual coming of age things and the end of the film isn't about her falling in love, but it's about her reconnecting and maybe falling in love with her best friend instead. Little Women is another period piece about 5 sisters who are growing up and finding their own places in the world. Again, the relationships between the sisters and their mother is the most important thing in this film. Seeing their struggles and joys and viewing them as autonomous women with individual ways of doing things is really the strength of this film. The Lake House. I think this film came out in 2006 or around then, but I always put this on when I feel like a good cry as it's really moving and emotional. It's a beautiful love story between 2 very lonely people. They fall in love through letters, and I suppose that's what makes this film so good. It's not about a man saving a woman, and even in this film it's kind of the other way around. It's about a woman saving a man. Throughout the film, the main character Kate maintains her successful career as a doctor. She lives on her own terms and she enjoys this correspondence. And while of course there is a tension of whether these 2 people will ever meet, it's not something that's going to determine whether Kate is happy or successful in life. She's already happy, she's already successful. Kate is her own person with a fulfilling life, and having this relationship is a bonus, not a necessity. That is all I wanted to chat with you about today. I hope you understood some of my thoughts, and if you want to leave any comments about feminism and film, please do so below. Otherwise, comment me with your favorite chick flick so I can check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.